Right, as we saw in the video, we've now got to join this customers and DVD tables together to record when somebody places an order, hires a DVD out. And as we try to illustrate, perhaps not too successfully, the problem is we can't use one table. And again, when I start building this, maybe when I start building this one you'll get it. If you don't, then actually when we start later on looking at forms, it will all come together. So please be patient. If you think that you're not quite there yet, then just trust me, a few videos down the line and you will get the hang of this. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to create a table first of all. I'm just going to create a table in Design View. I'm going to call this Order ID. Again, I'm just going to make this an auto number, and I'm just going to put the date of the order, and I am simply going to make this a date and time field, and we're going to set this as a primary key. And of course we want to know what the customer ID is that places the order. So I just need to make that a number because the customer ID is set as an auto number itself, so it must be a number field here. Now the thing is that you're probably thinking, well, DVD ID time now. No, it's not. And although this may not make sense at this moment in time, just trust me, when I start building this, it will come together when we start actually entering some data in. So I'm going to leave this table as it is, and I'm just going to go to View, by switching to Datasheet View I should say. Hopefully it'll ask me to save this. I press yes. I'm going to call it TBL and underscore order, and I'm going to press OK. And let's imagine now we will have today's date, which I think is the 19th of February 2009, and our customer ID. Now I'm going to just manually look this up for the moment. When we start actually making the forms and stuff, it will be drop down lists. So in fact, actually, let's make that a drop down list now. That's foolish of me. Let's go back into design. What am I talking about? Let's make this a lookup wizard. I've done this so many times before. Really should have done this one the way around this time. I want the, if that made sense, I want to look up the columns and the value of the table. That's what we want to do, because we're going to get the customer IDs from the customer table. Someone really should have shouted out to say, why are you doing this? You've done it so many times before. Why not now? Because I'm an idiot. Well, anyway, what do we want to appear in the drop down list? We're going to have the customer ID, and I think we'll have title, first name and surname. I'm not going to bother with all the addresses. Do you know, actually I think, should I bother with title? No, I'm not going to. Let's take that out. Let's press next, and we'll press next. And oh no, actually no, let's go back there. Actually, logic would suggest that you may as well sort it on surnames. If you're looking for customers, you might really want to look via surname, so it makes sense to have it in alphabetical order on the surname. Of course, I only have one customer in this. It says hide key column customer ID. I don't want to hide the key column. I'm going to leave that one unhidden actually, and we'll show you what happens in a moment. And we'll go next, and it says oh, do you want to store that? Just for the moment, just leave it as a customer ID. That is fine. It all makes sense at the moment, and we'll just press finish. And what happens is, yes, we want to save these changes, and we'll flip now back in here, and of course when we click in here we have this drop down list where we can choose. Because I haven't hidden the customer ID, it does appear, so I have one David Phillips. Just to prove a point to you, oh, don't know what I'm doing in there. Let's go in our tables now. Let's go to our table of customer, and we'll put in a Miss Ms. Let's have Sarah Smith. Oh, she does not have that. Thinking about it, let's put down Sophie Smith. That'll make sense because I've made some more kind of acted videos, and that will make more sense when we get there. And we need to put a postcode in for her, which is actually going to be CT11AA. That'll make sense when we get to that point. I'm going to leave everything else just blank just for the moment, and we'll close that one down. And if we just go back to our table of orders now, oh, we're going to have to just refresh that by clicking out and clicking back in, and now what we find is that we have our two customers there sorted alphabetically on the surname, P before S. So let's say now Sophie Smith is one that comes in and places the order on the 19th of February. Well, we want to record what orders, what DVDs she takes out. We're not going to do that in this table. I'm just going to close this down, for a moment, and I'm going to add this table to our relationship, so we'll bring that one up there, and that's the TBL of orders. On it comes, and you can see that we now have this link between there, and our final job here is to simply make a table to record which DVD copies are taken out on which order ID. So order number 1 could be that customer takes out DVDs numbers 1, 12, 74, 3612, etc., etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another table, create a table in design view, and this one you would think, I'll do it, we'll call it order items. I'm going to put order items ID. I'm actually going to get rid of this in a moment. If anybody's watching this thinking, oh, use a compound key, I'm going to, don't worry. And we'll have the order ID. Order ID. I don't think I've got underscores, did I? Oh, we'll put order ID. And we'll have DVD. No, we want copy. Let's just double check on my tables. DVD copy ID. That's what we want. Oh, wrong one. Let's bring it back here. DVD copy ID. And order ID, we're just going to leave as a number, and DVD copy ID I'm going to do with a lookup wizard. Do we want to use a lookup wizard? I think for the moment what I'll do is I'll just leave it as a number, because we might use combo boxes later on. No, we will do it. We'll do it with the lookup wizard. Shall we do it that way? No, we will leave it as a number. I do waffle. So yes, we're going to need a primary key, you would think. Well, actually, we don't really need to have this as a primary key. You see, the thing is, if I'll make it a primary key for the minute, and we'll start putting some data in. Now, if we just flip here, yes, and we're going to call this TBL order items. I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to start to put some data in. Oops, let's go back to make that happen. I want to make that an auto number. Let's try that again. Now, order ID, at the moment in time, if we actually open up our table of orders, we only have one order. The first order was placed by Sophie Smith on the 19th of February. The question is, how many DVDs should she take out? Well, the answer is that it goes a little something like this. Whoop. Order ID. We're manually going to type in number 1 this time. Is that? And now we need to record, just restore that, which DVDs she wanted. So let's imagine now, let's go and have a look at our DVD copy IDs. So we need that table open. Really going round the houses here. DVD copy. Let's now say that she takes out copy number 5 of the Magic Roundabout and copy number 9 of Slumdog Millionaire. So all that would happen, let's get to the right table, order items, is that number 5, Magic Roundabout, and again in order number 1 we can take out number 9, Slumdog Millionaire. So what we're doing here is that we're simply recording. If I just close these tables down for a moment, let's get rid of all of them just for a moment, and we'll get rid of that one because that was using that for reference. Let's add in another table now with order items. Going to pop that there. Now there's no links between the two of them here, but what we would do is just, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to press create. I know people go, enforce reference. I know we're going to do that later on. I'm not going to bore you with that now. Just want to show you the structure of what we end up with. We end up with a system that looks a little bit like this, and I just want to get my head around one thing for you guys. No, I'm not going to. Let's just leave it as order items ID just for this moment in time. I could actually get rid of that field and use a compound key, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just go with a sensible structure, and we'll come back to this later on. The whole point is now, if I just close this down and press yes, all that happens is that when somebody places an order, we record the customer ID once in this table, and then we go to the order items, we just simply record which DVDs they hire. Now this order ID, this is 1, 1, and if we had another one, if you took 2 copies of Slumdog Millionaire, you took copy number 9 and copy number 8. we don't have to type this one in automatically each time. When we come to the use of forms and the fact that these are all related together, you'll actually find this will be automatically filled in. So what we'll end up doing when we get to our forms is we'll put in, the date can actually be captured automatically. In fact, actually, I should have done that already, shouldn't I? Let's actually just pop that in there. Let's put default value, and we'll just put equals date. I'll put two curly brackets, two parenthesis brackets in there. Let's just show you that happening, actually, how that works. Let's flip here now. Yep. And you can see that every time we add a particular order, let's say David Phillips comes in on the 19th of February, and if it was tomorrow, this is automatically filled in with the 20th of February. We don't have to actually put the date in, we can just get the computer to generate that for us. So what will happen ultimately is that all we'll do is record once the customer ID, and if we go to the order items, we will only record the order DVD copy ID. It's all recorded, the two things, the customer ID and the DVD ID. Again, I say it might appear a little bit complex at this moment in time, but just trust me, stick with it. When we start making the forms, it will all come together.